Hello again! Welcome back to Marco Polo Club Flyers channel. Today, you'll be joining me on one of the world's shortest but pre-COVID busiest flight route. Hong Kong to Taipei? Nope. And yes, you guessed it, I'm now on taxi en route to Singapore Changi Airport, and I'll be flying to Kuala Lumpur this afternoon with Malaysia Airlines. And welcome to Terminal 1 of Changi Airport. I arrived at the airport around 1.5 hours before flight departure, and I bet most passengers have already checked in, and therefore I enjoyed an empty queue for check-in. Among the 5 or 6 counters opened, 2 are priority counters designated for business class passengers and oneworld, Ruby, Sapphire, and Airworld members. With my Cafe Gold status, I enjoyed priority check-in. I originally planned to visit the Jewel shopping mall before the flight, as I've never been there before. But sadly, I didn't have enough time for that, so I headed airside for the lounge. Malaysia Airlines uses the Mahaba Lounge, a third-party lounge run by Dinanta. Most of the seats in the lounge are facing one another, so I guess it's a little bit hard for you to enjoy privacy, especially when it gets crowded. Luckily, the lounge was not as packed as I expected. Probably it was because there were fewer flights in the daytime. Food offerings in third-party lounges are usually subpar in my opinion, and this lounge was no exception.
It's now less than 5 minutes to 2 p.m. and my flight will be departing at 2:40. The gate is already open, but check-in took a while because I requested for directly checking in my baggage to Hong Kong as well as changing my seat. And I'm now having some very simple dishes here at the lounge before boarding because there won't be food on board.
After spending roughly 10 minutes in the lounge, I headed to the gate D41, where boarding has already commenced. Say hello to Niner Mike Lima Juliet, an 11.5-year-old Boeing 737-800 jet. The boarding process began with business class passengers and oneworld frequent flyers, and for economy class, boarding was conducted by rows, so passengers sitting towards the aft of the aircraft get to board first, before passengers seating in the front. But regardless, the boarding process was quite quick and the flight seemed not too full. A hygiene kit was given to passengers by the cabin crew during boarding, and one of the stewardesses approached me after I had settled down to explain the points of attention for passengers seated next to the overwing emergency exits. When I booked the flight, it was scheduled to be operated by an Airbus A330-300. But then, quite unfortunately, it was downgraded to the 737 jet, which is in a 2-cabin layout with 16 business class seats in the front and 144 economy class seats to the back. The business class cabin is in a 2-2 layout across 4 rows, while the economy class cabin is in a standard 3-3 layout across 24 rows. To my surprise, business class was nearly full today with only 1 unoccupied seat left despite the short flight time, while economy class was around 70 to 80% occupied, I guess, and the entire cabin is dominated by strong blue colors. Before this flight, I actually expected to get a seat with personal TV, but turned out the seats on this flight were of an older generation and no personal TVs were installed. After the flight, I did some research and found that most, if not all, leased MH737 jets are equipped with this kind of dated seat product. If you're flying really short or domestic flights on Malaysia Airlines, make sure you don't feel surprised if you find this product on board. Let's go for a seat tour. As a oneworld Sapphire member, I requested an emergency exit row seat during check-in, and the staff generously arranged it for me for free. I was seated in 14F, a window seat. The seat is quite thick, a little bit like those you would get in a cinema. But unfortunately, there's no headrest. Seats with an emergency exit behind it could not be reclined, but since my seat was next to the second exit and there were no more exits behind me, I could enjoy a slight recline of the seat during the flight. The legroom was super generous, and this is the biggest advantage of sitting next to the exit. In front of the seat, inside the seat pocket, you can find a safety instruction card and an air sickness bag. Upstairs, there's the tray table. It is non-foldable, so you cannot, for example, fold it in half for more space when you're just going for a drink. On the armrest, there's a control panel for some sorts of entertainment system, I guess, but unfortunately, it did not work. Good news is that if you're lucky enough to have the entire row to yourself, you can pull up the armrest and turn the entire row into your fully flat bed, which could be quite comfortable on a longer flight. On the overhead panels, there are air vents that give you cold air, reading lamps, and the call button. Right after takeoff, the stewardess rushed to the cabin to start the meal service. There were a total of 4 flight attendants on board, with the supervisor and the stewardess serving in business class, and the remaining 2 stewardesses being stuck with us here in economy, unfortunately. Given that it was a short flight, the meal service was relatively simple. Every passenger got a packet of peanuts and a small couplet of orange juice. I then further asked for a cup of water and an extra packet of peanuts. The crew generously accepted my request and even gave me 3 more packets of peanuts. It was not much longer before the crew returned to the cabin to collect our trash and to see if we had any other requests. To prepare the cabin for landing, and to comply with the regulations set by the Malaysian government, some insect repellents were being sprayed across the cabin by the cabin crew. As we were about to arrive at Kuala Lumpur, let me use this opportunity to summarize the flight. Overall speaking, the flight has been an okay one. Regarding the seat, it was sort of disappointing to me that the old seat product was arranged for this flight. Although the seat wasn't uncomfortable, honestly, they looked a little bit outdated to me, and there were neither TVs nor electric sockets. But it was totally understandable since it was a really short flight, and I was super grateful that the ground staff got me the extra legroom seat for free with my Cathay Pacific Marco Polo Club status. These oneworld benefits explain why I enjoy traveling on oneworld flights that much. Moving on to the meal. I cannot give a really comprehensive review to it because the flight has been super short and the meal was rather simple. I mean, it's hard to judge whether the peanuts are good or bad. I appreciate that passengers could order water, tea, or coffee if they really wanted, despite the short flight time. But if I had to be a little bit picky, I would say that the juice was a little bit too sweet and tasted artificial. And for the service, from what I know, Malaysia Airlines branded the service as Malaysian hospitality. Based on the experience on this flight, I would say that the crew were rather cold to passengers. I'm not sure if that was because they were wearing face masks or because of the short flight time. It seems that they did not show much happiness or passion throughout the flight, but I appreciated their generosity in giving more peanuts to me and addressing my requests for water. I understand that they were in much hurry throughout the flight and appreciate their professionalism. Anyways, welcome to Kuala Lumpur, and this is nearly the end of this flight. I'm aware that this review might not have been super comprehensive due to the short flight time, but still, I hope you enjoyed your journey with me. and I'm actually planning to fly MH again in winter this year. And if you are interested in watching an MH business class flight review, please let me know in the comments, and see you again soon. Bye bye! Hope you've enjoyed your time traveling with me, and please like, share, and comment on this video. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Most importantly, check out my Instagram account cxka_ken for more traveling shots. Ta-ta for now, until I meet you again next time.